Chapter 13: Products and Services for Customers. Nowadays, we have emerging opportunities and challenges. For example, new consumers in emerging markets. These consumers have higher purchasing power and therefore have become more sophisticated and complex. Also, the distinction between products and services has blurred, and therefore some just call it market offerings or business-to-consumer marketing. Finally, product adaptation continues to be key in order to reach the highest sales potential. As far as quality, global competition is making product life cycles shorter, and it also has a focus on quality, competitive prices, and innovative products. We are seeing that the power is shifting from seller to buyer. The customer defines quality in terms of his or her own needs and resources, and cost and quality are among the most important criteria for purchases in most global markets. Quality can be defined in two dimensions: market perceived quality and performance quality. Market perceived quality is based on the consumer perceptions of quality. For example, the consumer may expect some features and may not even other ones. Performance quality is the firm's perception of quality, which could mean a safe flight, for example. However, for a customer, that may be a given, and he or she may pay attention to other details, such as how he was greeted, the snacks he was offered, and punctuality. Since firms often misrepresent performance quality, governments have started to regulate some industries much more heavily. In order to measure customer satisfaction across a variety of consumer products and services, customer satisfaction indexes have been developed. Also, Fair Trade USA provides a certification or the Fair Trade designation that ensures that farmers in emerging economies receive a fair price for their coffee, tea, chocolate, rice, and other products instead of selling at the lower market price to a middleman. Finally, the U.S. Department of Commerce recognizes American firms for their international offerings with the Malcolm Baldrige Quality Award. Performance quality is critical. It may be damaged as a product passes through the distribution chain, and therefore long distribution chains and less control are a challenge for global brands. Also, market perceived quality matters. An example could be that national chocolates do better than imported chocolates due to the texture preference. Therefore, their quality is preferred. Now, let's look at the physical and mandatory requirements and adaptation. Product homologation. These are the changes that are mandated by local product and service standards. It is most often the reason for adaptation. Other factors, for example, less economically developed markets require greater degree of adaptation for acceptance. For example, package size usually needs to be adapted. Climate differences must be accommodated too. Law, politics, and technology are other factors. Green marketing. It impacts product development because the manufacturer must control the solid waste of the packaging components, since the consumer demands for environmentally friendly products. Europe is at the forefront in regards to this with the eco-labeling guidelines that were passed by the European Commission in 1992. The European Union law requires recycling or reuse of all packaging materials. Innovative products and adaptation. In the first step to adaptation, a marketer should consider if the product is an innovation in the intended market. Diffusion of innovation is a process by which an innovation spreads. A company's goal is product acceptance by the largest number of consumers in the shortest amount of time. New products are not always readily accepted by other cultures. They may eventually be accepted, but it will require time and effort. Diffusion research shows that the probable rate of acceptance can be predicted and accelerated if necessary. Diffusion of innovations. Diffusion according to Edward Rogers. He noted that the crucial elements in the diffusion of new ideas are an innovation communicated through certain channels over time among members of a social system. The element of time is unique to diffusion research as some products are adopted quite faster than others. The goal is to shorten the lag between introduction and widespread adoption of an idea or a product. The rates of product acceptance and diffusion vary. They are impacted by culture, technology, adoption from neighboring countries, etc. Diffusion theory helps predict diffusion time before making a financial commitment, identify product features that provoke resistance, provide opportunity to lessen resistance and accelerate acceptance. Extraneous variables that affect rate of diffusion, the degree of perceived newness, perceived attributes of the innovation, and methods used to communicate the data. Rate of acceptance or resistance can be predicted by analyzing the 5 characteristics of an innovation. Relative advantage to all product, compatibility to culture norms, etc. Complexity associated with the product use. Trialability, economic or social use. Trialability, economic or social risk associated with product use. Observability, the ease with which the product benefits can be communicated. Note that the analyst's self-reference criterion may cause bias when interpreting characteristics of a product. Production of innovations. Diversity is good for innovation. It yields higher creativity output. A long-term study on the long-term impact on work team performance showed that diverse groups initially had a disadvantage due to communication issues. However, once the issues were solved, the diverse groups produced more ideas. There are conflicting opinions on culture's role in innovation. One study suggests that an individualistic culture enhances creativity. Another suggests that corporate culture is important. Research on conversionability refers to the degree of success a firm has when taking an invention to market. 3 factors are key: patience, focus on a few inventions, and experience. A product is multidimensional. The sum of all of its features determines the bundle of satisfactions received by the consumer. The product component model is a tool that helps determine how a product might be adapted to a market. It separates the dimensions into 3 distinct components: the support servicing and the core component. Then, the effects of the cultural, physical, and mandatory factors can be reviewed for each component. Core component. It consists of the physical product, its design and its functional features. Variations can be added or deleted for different markets. For example, alteration in the design and function to fit cultural tastes. It may affect product processes and require additional costs. Some alterations may be mandated by the market. The packaging component. It frequently requires mandatory adaptations. For example, country of origin labeling for food, size requirements, etc. Laws vary from country to country. Discretionary adaptations should also be considered. Trademarks should be checked for unintended symbolic meaning. Attention should be paid to the translation of brand names, use of color. A marketer should also consider the climate in a market. Support services component. It is important not to neglect this component, as many otherwise successful marketing programs may fail. Repair and maintenance are usually a challenging feature, as these are not as accessible or common in other countries. Instruction manuals may need to be adapted, taking into account that countries have varying literacy and education levels. When possible, the use of manuals that only show images are the best option, as these do not need to be read or translated. Adaptation of services. Much of the advice used for products can be applied. However, services are different because they are intangible. Intangibility results in 3 important characteristics. Inseparable. Creation cannot be separated from consumption. Heterogeneous. Individually produced and therefore unique. Perishable. Must be consumed simultaneously with creation. In global markets, we have the following services opportunities: tourism, transportation, financial services, education, telecommunications, entertainment, information, and healthcare. Barriers to entering global markets. Services are inseparable, therefore exporting are not an entry option. Licensing, franchising, and direct investment are the main methods. 4 barriers to entry: protectionism, restrictions on transborder data flow, protection of intellectual property, cultural barriers, and adaptation. A global brand is defined as the worldwide use of the name, term, sign, symbol, design, intended to identify the goods and services of one seller and to differentiate them from those of competitors. A brand is the most valuable resource a company has. The brand name encompasses years of advertising, product experience, and other attributes. Brand image is at the very core of business identity and strategy. Importance and impact varies by culture, as consumers will interact differently with the brand in each culture. Companies with strong brands try to globalize them, which ideally gives the company a positive association worldwide and enhances efficiency and cost of introducing new products. Also, nowadays we see that the internet and technology have accelerated brand globalization. However, not all companies believe a single global brand is the best approach. Those with already established country-specific brands might not want to abandon them, as it may be risky or costly, and because brand extensions in global markets are sometimes difficult. National brands. Sometimes it may be wise to continue with country-specific brands, since multinationals must consider cultural factors such as increased nationalism. Many companies mix national and global branding. For example, Nestle likes to go with local brands, and only when it doesn't have one, it would use global brands. Then for people, Nestle likes to go regional, and for technology, it likes to go global. Country of origin effect, or COE, is the influence that a country of manufacture, assembly, or design has on the consumer's perception of a product. COE is influenced by the country, product, and image of a brand. Ethnocentrism impacts attitudes towards foreign products. Some people stereotype depending if a product is made in an industrial or in a developing country. Good marketing can overcome a negative COE. For example, Chile was able to sell chopsticks to Japan by inviting Japanese to see their forests, by providing quality products, by being patient, etc. The bottom line is that this is a factor that should be investigated before any product is launched into any market. Private brands or private label are strong competitors to manufacturers' brands, especially during recessions in target markets, as consumers prefer less expensive, more local private brands. Therefore, global brands must be priced competitively to be successful. Benefits to retailers from these private brands are: the production is outsourced while they still get the advantage of a local brand, and the retailer obtains high margins, preferential shelf space, strong in-store promotions, and quality products at low prices.